Needless to say, we are on our way to speculation/spoiler station, so hop on board! Hey guys, MasakoX here. We are currently getting stuck into the Tournament of Power of the Universe Survival Arc. 100 episodes in and a little over 5 minutes into the absolute spectacle that is the tournament to end most universes. Our team from Universe 7 comprises of some heavy hitters, some smart strategists, as well as some nods to the parts which are greatly appreciated. I'm glad that they've been pleasantly acknowledged, but how would they actually stack up when you actually compare them to other fighters from other universes now we have a better grasp of them? Again, this is all just speculation, but it's fun to actually just think about now they're actually getting into the meat of the arc. Note, the following thoughts that I'll be touching on verge onto spoiler territory as well as some very intense speculation, so if you'd rather wait until you're a bit further in to actually discuss this video with me and actually watch what I'm about to say, then I understand if you just click off and just hold off on this video for now. So, here we go. Just give you a little bit of time. Okay, you all set? You want to watch the video? Then okay, let's continue. Universe 7 may be one man down already, but we're doing alright. As you might know, Krillin actually made a strong impression for the Team Universe 7 lot. He was actually doing some good assists with Roshi and 18 to get a couple of KOs. He was doing his bit, he wasn't completely useless. In fact, he wasn't useless at all. It was only because of a cheap shot by Frost that Little Guy was out of the tournament. It was just an unlucky break. That's such a shame. Then again, it's touching on a very important point. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill tournament, this is a tournament for the fate of the universes. This is not going to be an honourable matchup. The only rules are that you can't fly, kill, use weapons, or use any kind of outside assistance. Cheap shots and moments of opportunity will not be frowned upon. In fact, I reckon judging the Only King's behaviour, they would be encouraged. Simply because they look cool and they'll keep the rulers completely excited for the majority of the tournament. In recent days, there's been a theory brewing concerning the order about how people will exit the Tournament of Power, and it all stems from something that was recently released, the latest ending of Dragon Ball Super, Ending 9, Haruka, translated as Far Away. The song itself is, it's pretty nice, it's quite reflective, but what's got the community buzzing are the visuals in the second half of the ending. The first half was pretty clear enough, implying who's going to be important in this arc from all the other universes, so if you don't see that character in that ending, expect them to be actually out of the tournament and really not figuring at all. But the other part was even more telling. You see, these visuals might indicate the order of how people in Universe 7's team will be dropping out of proceedings. First, we see the likes of Krillin, Tenshinhan, and Vegeta. Then we see 17 and 18 probably going out together, then Piccolo, Roshi, and Frieza, followed by Goku and Gohan together. They stand together as they launch themselves into the fray. That last shot could imply that only those two make it all the way to the end of the Tournament of Power, and figuring in the adjudication that will ultimately decide the winner of the tournament. Normally, characters in an ending are usually measured in terms of their importance, marketability, character popularity, and all that such, but we don't necessarily get that here. Usually, Vegeta is near the end of a lineup, or at least close to Goku. Here, he's nowhere close, he's in the first lot, so does that imply that Vegeta's going to be out early? What is he doing in the third elimination slot? If this were convention, Roshi and Vegeta would be switching places because in the 8th ending, Boogie Back, things are a lot more traditional, with Vegeta being second only to Goku. Normally I wouldn't actually entertain this kind of idea because these kinds of theories usually get debunked pretty quickly. But when Krillin found himself out of the tournament and he was on the first slide, this theory began to actually hold some water. So, it might be worth actually thinking about. So, without further ado, since Krillin's already out, let's start off with Tenshinhan. Tenshinhan's episode was mostly dedicated to rekindling old times and his old attacks. Generally, it was mostly out of nostalgia, as well as possibly setting up a love interest with the likes of Yurin, or at least having her being his next disciple in some kind of way. Knowing how Tenshinhan works, it will probably be the latter because he's really not one for love. In terms of his contribution to the episode, especially in the second half, it was rather limited. In the battle between possessed Roshi and Goku, he really didn't figure and he relied on Goku in his base form to do pretty much everything. Tenshinhan was there, and it's good that he has a dojo, but when it came to the nitty-gritty of fighting against Roshi, who was buffed up and evil and all that kind of stuff, he was just not anywhere. It left people scratching their heads as to why he was even there. The reason why he is in this team is because he is a very talented martial artist and a very level head, and in this kind of tournament, that's exactly what you need. Someone who is straight-laced, unlikely to get in a flap, and can hold his own. Some of his techniques are really impressive too, you know, he's got the solar flare, he's got his ki koho, he's got the multiform technique. You know, it's right there, they're useful to have. However, it's quite possible that he might be actually susceptible to another cheap shot from the likes of Frost or some other kind of character. Since Ten Shinhan's so serious and he would follow rules by the book, anyone who actually take a moment of opportunity or do something quite sneaky will actually use that moment and seize the chance to take out Ten Shinhan. He is too by the book, and I think that will be his undoing at the end of it. So okay, what's Vegeta doing here? That is both easy and difficult to figure out. It's difficult because of how strong he simply is. He is second in power only to Goku, and Gohan is catching up fast. He's extremely adept at fighting, he actually may be even more skilled than Goku in places, and in terms of dedication to fighting and battle strategies, he's way better. What could possibly take him out short of just another cheap shot or simply being overwhelmed by multiple people? Well, that answer is actually quite simple. His damn pride. I found it suspicious when his personality completely changed again during the second half of the Universe Survival arc. Throughout Super and the first half of said arc, Vegeta was a whole other person. His development was remarkable, I even touched upon it in many videos. But as soon as Bra was born, it all changed again. He became monosyllabic, one-dimensional, just like, I hate you, Kakarot! Grr, I like to fight! I don't want to listen to people! I hate Frieza, grr! He went back to his default personality, as we're all too familiar with. Granted, this might be because Frieza wasn't around and he doesn't want to show any vulnerability in front of the Galactic Tyrant because he would just eat it up for breakfast, but come on, Frieza's not stupid. Frieza is pretty smart, he knows your book, Vegeta, he would read through you no matter what you did. It was really sad to see Vegeta's development being completely undone. Something tells me that he will do something desperate or foolhardy to try and win, something that will just get to his head and he'll be just weakened like that. He'll do something just simply trying to outdo Goku, or maybe out of a desperation tactic, be whittled down by Frieza and then just say, "That's it, Frieza, I'm taking you out," some kind of friendly fire thing. I mean, we've seen it so far in this tournament because he just wanted to take Hit out so early on, out of revenge. Don't do that just now, wait at least until later. Hit wasn't something he should be concentrating on just yet. But the rules don't say that you can't take out your own teammates, so that might be something you would try and do. Who's to say that Frieza might not just actually turn on him and take him out with a little help from Frost, because remember, those two have a mutual agreement to actually help each other stay in the tournament. Next up are the two cyborgs, 17 and 18. Based on how they're actually being treated in this arc and prior to that, it is very clear that their endgame is going to be them working together in battles, in sync like they were intended to. Not to mention that their infinite energy reserves are a remarkable boom in this kind of tournament. They can just keep going and going and going. As other people are flagging, they're just right there, they can pick off people one by one, quick and easy. That's a positive boon. Something that the writers will be very clear to nip in the bud, so that means it doesn't become overpowered and imbalanced. That, I think, is why Universe 3's composition is what it is. These fighters are mostly mechanical, or at least cybernetically enhanced. And they would most likely have similar types of energy reserves to that of 17 and 18. Maybe they're even more effective. And knowing how 17 and 18 are working in sync, it'll be most likely that if they fight together, they will go out together. Then we have Piccolo. Piccolo, much like Ten Shinhan, is a very, very capable fighter and very shrewd. He knows exactly what he is capable of and what he can do in a fight. If he can't actually win against someone, he knows he's not going to try, but he's going to do his best. His grounded approach towards a battle might actually ensure that he lasts well into the second half of the tournament, maybe all the way to the end. So what could potentially mean that he would be the fifth person of the Universe 7 team to be knocked out? Well, it's all down to personal sacrifice. Given how close Piccolo and Gohan have been in terms of working together and to make sure that everyone else is kept in check, or at least to keep an eye on them, something is going to involve Piccolo and Gohan. Something tells me that Gohan will get himself ensnared in something that will endanger his place in the tournament, and that Piccolo will have to step in to try and make sure that he's rescued, and that in turn will either mean that Piccolo will be outclassed, knocked out, or hurled out of the ring, which will mean he'll be out, but that will mean that Gohan is still there in order to do what he's supposed to do. I mean, it's not like this kind of stunt is unheard of, am I right? Yeah, okay, it's kind of hackney and repetitive, and it's not fair on Piccolo's part, but I'm pretty sure that whatever Piccolo does to sacrifice himself for Gohan's benefit, it will be done in a very badass way. Then we have the surprise placement in this list. Roshi. Roshi? What on earth is he doing there? 4th place? Well, that could be all down to the plot devices that we've seen in recent episodes. Roshi has actually been one of the most developed fighters in the universe survival arc. When we first saw him really figure in episode 89, you know, his whole tirade with urine and being a complete lech and we all felt really grossed out, he actually somewhat learned from it. He's seemingly gone on a mission to better himself, and for real this time. At first I was rather skeptical, thinking this was all just for comedic effect, but you know what? After all this time, I think it's genuine. Roshi wants to become a better man. So far, Roshi's been doing his damnedest to actually help out his team. He's been launching Kamehameha after Kamehameha and getting a couple of KOs, with a little help from other people, but still, he's contributing in a major way. That and his positive outlook is really beneficial for the morale of the team. The sheer amount of time that's been given to Roshi in this arc so far means that he will actually be quite a significant force for Team Universe 7 in this Tournament of Power. So I think that he will be here for a very long time. I don't think he's going to be knocked out early. Now it's Frieza's turn. Frieza being in 3rd place is actually a plausible position. He will most likely make it through the tournament relatively unscathed, because it seems like no one's really challenging him in terms of power. I mean, it's Frieza. He's been the most hyped character in this entire arc. Remember though, we have to make sure that Goku goes the distance, so he can't be too bold and have Goku knocked out and Frieza be ahead of him. So, you know, we gotta be level-headed somewhat, or at least for Toei and Shueisha's sake. What would be the thing to do the Emperor in after all of that? Well, quite simply, it would be down to the rules. I mean, yeah, sure, Frieza could be powerful enough and survive through it to the end of the tournament, but if he weren't, it would be the rules that would be his undoing. He was very put out when Goku revealed to him that one of the rules of the Tournament of Power was that you couldn't kill people. That was quite clearly something Frieza wanted to do, and something he truly exhibited in episode 95 when he was curing his bloodlust in a major way. Something tells me he'll get too engaged in fighting, he'll be loving this too much, and one little slip, he will end up killing somebody instead of injuring them or knocking them out of the ring, and oops, he'll find himself disqualified. He'll find himself relegated to the stands by the likes of the Grand Priest because, hey, whatever he would have done would have looked cool and it would have impressed the Omni Kings or shocked them, but you know, rules are rules, and the GP will honor those rules. Finally, we have Goku and Gohan together. This symbolizes that if anybody of Universe 7 is going to survive through to the end of the tournament, it's gonna be these two, especially Goku. First off, it's Goku. He's the main character. How would you not have him last through to the end of the tournament? He's gotta have a new kind of transformation, or actually atone for his foolish ways throughout the arc. Toei and Toriyama aren't that bold. They're not gonna nix Goku out this early. Then there is Gohan. The writing team of Super have been quite clear to make up for lost time, considering how wishy-washy they've been with Gohan's development throughout the entirety of Super, especially the first half of what we've seen so far. Gohan is clearly hiding something that he wishes to display further on into the arc, a new transformation or maybe mastering of his ultimate ability. Something's there, and something will actually reach the peak of its character development in this arc. As I mentioned earlier, he probably would have run into difficulty at some point throughout the arc, and Piccolo will have to come to his aid, sacrificing himself in the process. It'll mean that Gohan's resolve will be tested, and he'll be thinking, right, I've got to get serious, and of course, he will get serious. But that will be his only mulligan. After that, he will be on his own. As for Goku, the key visual as of late with him with his back to the audience clearly states that something terrible is going to be happening, and it will be involving Goku to the fullest, so if he weren't there, then what's the point of this visual? And it's a cool visual at that. Yeah, he's definitely going to be going through to the end of the tournament to either win or face up against another big bad that we don't know about yet. We'll have to wait and see. So there we go. Those were my theories about the possible elimination order for Team Universe 7. The biggest thing that we have to take from this is that I could be entirely wrong, and this whole order could be completely different. This is open to interpretation, from myself, from you, from everybody. It could be utterly unrecognizable by the time we get to the end of the arc. A couple of things are for sure though. Krillin was the first person to be eliminated, and I still think that Goku and Gohan will make it to the end of the tournament. They will go the distance. The rest in their order, we'll have to wait and see. So what do you guys think? Do you like this lineup? Who do you think will make it through to the end? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, Until the next one, be sure to like and subscribe. Catch you later!